Hey YouTube, Abby here. In today's Overwatch video, I'm going to talk to you about how to carry with JUNKERQUEEN. JUNKERQUEEN was the latest tank that got added into Overwatch 2's beta phase number 2, and she's a hell of a lot of fun to play, so I decided why not do a little quick guide on how to carry with her. Now bear in mind, the way I want to do this type of video is that I'm going to showcase a game where I do pretty decent on her and kind of try to give some offline commentary and share my thought process on how I did it. Now, initially, our first few teamfights were kind of a mess, so I'm just going to skip over from that and get to the point where we start to retake, because that's where I was really able to shine with JUNKERQUEEN. It was also my first game of the day, so it was a little bit sloppy here and there, but I eventually got it to work as the map started to progress. Anyways, so what happens over here is that I'm prioritizing my scouting skills. I really just want to be able to scout out, like, who is where, and then who might be like the easiest skill to kind of chase after. I'm able to see that there's a Zenyatta over there. No point in chasing him. He'll probably melt me before I can even get into range. Over here, my teammates start to push in on the three people over here. I axe swing towards the Sojourn and start to apply pressure towards her. Now, it does give my Pharah enough time to get into position. She has Barrage, and just as I stated, she starts firing away. It does give me enough time to isolate the enemy JUNKERQUEEN, apply pressure, and we secure the kill on her. And from here on out, I'm just helping out with the cleanup phase. Secure some nice kills over here, get myself a nice little 3k, and pull the Bob away from that spot so we can capture the point, apply pressure, and then he disappears. Now, it's very, very important to understand a few things as we kind of go on. Because there's a distinct lack of shields, it's very important not to play JUNKERQUEEN in the main sightlines and kind of play her in these different corners and make sure not to get your head blown off in the span of a few seconds. So as you can see, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm playing around this little stone over here, and then if I got pressured, I quickly moved out of the way and dropped down to another corner and just played around that. Now over here, I was beginning to get close to my ultimate, and my thought process was, okay, they're starting to feel a bit confident, so I need to apply some sort of pressure, and I just used my ult to just get the enemy JUNKERQUEEN and the Zenyatta antied and just continue to apply pressure. Now unfortunately, my teammates and myself were not able to follow up on the initial ultimate use, so I just kind of moved out of the way and didn't risk dying. It was to kill the Mercy over there and kept moving on. So from here on out, it's some pretty standard stuff. My Sojourn was able to kind of pop off, and again, I personally feel like JUNKERQUEEN is a tank that really begins to shine once her teammates actually play around her, because she, like, her kill potential is not bad, but sometimes it does kind of feel like, wow, I wish I could do just a little bit more damage. Anyways, over here we secure ourselves a nice little kill, and I'm able to push in and just kind of keep everybody away. It's important to kind of move up and maintain the space. You don't want people to take space from you for free. So make sure, my fellow JUNKERQUEEN players out there to control the space. Also, just a quick little side note, quick little tip is that initially when somebody's kind of pushing in on you from a corner, do use your axe swing to give them some big burst damage. Like I said, this was like my first game of the day, so I was a little bit sloppy in the first round, but I definitely found my footing as it went on. From here on out, it's some pretty standard stuff, just kind of, point and click, move in on whoever's close. I got nanoed over here, and it definitely helped increase my kill potential, and I basically just walked in on all these different targets. The Ashe was able to boot me away. I didn't want to waste any time, so I just, applied my axe swing towards the Sojourn, pulled her in, and then instantly killed her, which allowed us to win that point. Moving on from Temple and over to Mecha Base, I don't use my commanding shout early on because we do have the Lucio speed kind of getting us in there, and you don't want to do that because it has a very long cooldown. You want to use commanding shout once you're kind of up in their face. So over here, I just use commanding shout to quickly close the distance and start getting into the range where the shotgun can do some decent-ish damage and, pull somebody close to me and start applying pressure. The Hanzo is able to help me get some picks, and I just kind of move in and help up with the cleanup crew, kind of get our final picks over here, and we've secured the first point. Again, pretty much just kind of cleaning up this Zen who was just teabagging for no reason. And yeah, so now we're holding the main, the top right choke. Unfortunately, my Hanzo gets a bit too greedy and a bit too overconfident and gets his head blown off, but I am prioritizing using the corners. Please use the corners a lot. It's very important for basically all the tanks going into Overwatch 2. From here on out, the combo cycle is pretty simple. There's different variations to it, but I'm basically just using the blade to pull somebody in, and then I use my E to apply the initial burst damage, and I use my left clicks to basically just, finish them off. You can use the commanding shout to maybe like back out in case you feel like there's a lot of pressure, and you can also use the commanding shout to maybe help some teammates that may be in an unfavorable situation. Again, over here it's pretty simple stuff, just kind of point and click adventure for JUNKERQUEEN. Because I'm able to kind of maintain this space and they're always pretty much looking at me, my Hanzo and my other DPS and supports they have a lot of room to breathe and they can kind of do whatever they want. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't lose this pressure that I've created with her. So she's pretty similar to she's pretty similar to Roadhog. Unfortunate for that Ashe over there, I chased her down into the corner and there was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You are going to get caught, young lady. Unfortunate for her. Anyways, we are now moving back in. I'm maintaining the same presence where I've controlled the space, and just in case if they try to go for different routes, I do have my commanding shout to close the distance. Anyways, again, as they're pushing in through this choke, I just poke my head out through the corner, use the axe, and continue to apply pressure. Now over here, they did get a Reaper, so I was starting to respect that hero pick and kind of backing up. So unfortunately, I do kind of get pushed into a corner, and that was it for that life. I think they captured the point over here. My Moira does get a quick pick. I kind of just, zoom to the next part of the VOD. We're able to maintain our presence and keep the point going, and that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to use my ult over here. I applied some antis and was able to secure a kill on the enemy Reaper. Just kind of, again, playing around corners, making sure I don't kind of stay in one place and get my head blown off, isolating the different squishies, and then trying to burst them down. Over here, I don't really get much help from my team, since some of them did fall, but the Moira was with me, and he was putting in some decent work. It's really, really important to apply the bleed damage, otherwise you won't be able to the bleed makes a big difference. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And with that being said, that concluded that match and I was able to get the victory. So this was just a very, very quick little video on how to carry with JUNKERQUEEN. So before we wrap up this video, the main takeaways was that JUNKERQUEEN is basically very similar to Roadhog, but she has her own ways of creating pressure and maintaining her frontline presence. The key factor that will make you a great JUNKERQUEEN player is that you need to have good cooldown rotations, as well as a good understanding of how to move around the different maps in Overwatch. If you're already a tank player and you're pretty good at cooldown management and moving around the different map geometries and utilizing the map to give yourself some favorable duels, then you'll be perfectly fine on this character and she'll feel very fun in your hands when you get her to work in your games. Some quick takeaways and side notes for the different abilities is that make sure to use commanding shout once you're at mid to close range. You can also use commanding shout to bail out your teammates, although this will put you at a disadvantage because in a team fight you may not have the commanding shout to extend your own life and take extended duels with other characters. So just be careful on that one. The axe swing is a great way to apply the big burst damage, so it's pretty good to use if the A target is low, or to apply the initial burst damage to start your combos, and then you can secure the kill with the left clicks. Make sure to use the melee when the jagged blade is in your hand so you can apply the bleed effects to any target that's close to you, because it does go a long way and make a difference. Not only does it give you ult charge, I believe, but also these little numbers that begin to chip away at the HP bar, it does make a difference when somebody tries to follow up to get a kill, or if you yourself are trying to follow up on that bleed and pulling the target in and then applying the combo where you swing the axe and then shoot the shotgun, or shoot the shotgun and then swing the axe. Whatever you prefer. Whatever you feel like, oh, this really works for me. Now, as the video concludes, I'm just gonna be quiet from this point on and just showcase some gameplay of where I popped off with JUNKERQUEEN, and we'll conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. Liking and subscribing are free ways to support the channel. And in case you want to see more of this type of content where I share the thought process on how I can carry games, then I'd be more than happy to do more of these type of videos for all the different heroes in Overwatch. With that being said, I hope you enjoy the clips.